how would they find the footprints if we were driving the ATVs? Like, wouldn't somebody run over them? If we were just
Daniel went back with the boot.
Daniel went back.
Are you fucking kidding me? You want to come onto Mike's channel and play $60,000 pyramid? Why don't you tell us, dummy? And what are you trying to say about the footprints that they found 500 meters back on the pipeline trail, that it was Jack and Lily's and it has something to do? What a circular argument you're coming up to Mike Demands, you old bat, and trying to make. You're a liar, honey. You're even a bigger liar than we claim Anita is. And you're more relevant to the situation because you are on that property. You're supposed to be in a role of protection over those children. What a stupid thing, Janie. The first thing that I pull up and listen to, the first thing happens to be you saying the most cockamamie, roundabout thing, trying to associate it with little, word salad things that are already out in the case. Honey, you can't talk or speak directly about any issue in Jack and Lily. You're the fucking Riddler coming up in there from Batman, trying to apply your flawed logic to somebody who is talking about you on the internet. You can't handle Anita. Why is it bothering you if none of it's true? Isn't it funny watching a bunch of people waste their time talking about stuff that isn't true? Why is it rattling around in your head? Why is it affecting you to call into Mike and talk like this, honey?
Back with a boot and made the print.
Oh, fuck, that's a good one, Anita. Oh, that's a fucking good one.
What about May 2nd? What do you guys do May 2nd?
Holy shit, Mr. Hemi, you weren't kidding. Wow. That, I felt the hair raise on the back of my neck. I'll get you, my pretty. She does sound the Wicked Witch of the West. Like, she's as old as she probably could have been one of the people who didn't make the cut. She wouldn't put out for the director of that movie back in the day. She could have played that witch. That is hysterical fishing. Let's see that again.
Hey, Mike, listen. We were up there Friday, okay? Friday? When did they find the footprints? They found the footprints, wasn't it on May 3rd? So if we were driving the, let me think right now. Here, let me look. I have a picture here. Let me see. I'll tell you.
She's sounding like the leprechaun from Lucky Charms. Hey, Mike, I've got a riddle for you. Mike. What the hell does that have to do with anything? They're talking about you and you come out of nowhere like Beetlejuice and you're fucking spouting off riddles. Woman, you're worse than a demon, Janie. She's just so outraged because people don't believe her. People recognize that she's lying. And this is what and how she's acting.
When they found
what about May 2nd? Did you go there May 2nd?
All right, wait a second.
Go ahead.
Wait, just hold on there a second. Just hold on there a second, Mikey. Mikey, on May 3rd, they found the footprints at, Malaya sent me a picture, May 3rd at 10:16. Okay?
Okay.
They found the footprints, I think it was Friday night, in the middle of the night or something. I'm not quite sure. So if we were driving the ATVs up there and down and on the road, on the pipeline, well, how did they find if we were destroying evidence, how would they find the footprints if we were driving the ATVs? Like, wouldn't somebody run over them? If we were
Daniel went back with the boot. Daniel went back with a boot and made the print.
God, what an idiot.
So Anita says to Janie that Daniel went back and made the boot prints. That's plausible. What's so funny about it? That was her laugh after being accused by Anita up there. They're playing good cop, bad cop. Fantastic. That's really funny. That's really, really funny, dude. Shit. Anita. Great question. But it's not even an actual accusation. Who cares what she said? Like, I mean, it's plausible. There's your opportunity, Janie, to speak to something that's an actual real question. That you could have a conversation and say no. And here's the reason why, for example, rather than break into hysterics. You broke into hysterics, girl. Janie. That's a big tell. That's another red flag. The fact that you're up there anyway tells me that you're desperate. And what are your guys' priorities always? Oh, can you guys stop with the accusations out there? Could you tone it down a bit? There's only one accusation that matters, and it's your responsibility over the fate of Jack and Lily and the cover-up. That's still going on day by day. Yeah, she certainly had an emotional reaction over that statement. Fishing. That is Janie in a nutshell. That is beautiful. That's, God. It exposes her desperation and her level of denial. You hit the wall, bang on. You hit that wall. We're right at the gates. Wow. Mike's got the good clip of Janie. Janie, and she's over there leaking her emotion, her true emotions about things. Not that it didn't have anything to do with what the question was that Anita asked, the words themselves in the situation. I'm saying that her response to it alone shows you the level of denial that she's refusing to speak to any sort of question or context about Jack or Lily.
They're searching evidence on the pipeline. You were not searching for children.
Stop.
You knew they weren't in
Stop.
the woods.
Anita, no,
Go
enough.
down there, Anita.
Anita, stop. Now, okay. So you were all there, but if it was a crime, if there were so many people, if there was any evidence or anything there, wouldn't it be reasonable to assume that many people there, ATVs, would have destroyed any kind of tracks that could have been made there that had something to do with the disappearance of Jack and Lily?
Okay, Mike, listen. We were up there Friday, okay? Friday.
That's your answer to his question. Did you see what happened there? She immediately answers whatever's asked about her in a way that she wants that isn't necessarily associated or maybe loosely associated. She just takes it in a different direction as opposed to just straight up answering his question, satisfying the issue and the problem in the first place, and then going on to explain whatever it is that she feels that she needs to add. That never happens in this circumstance with them or her. So the fact that Anita and Mike together up there have a way of evoking the spirits in that sense. They've got the magic powder. They've got the Midas touch, the ability to raise the dead or the near dead, like Janie out of her slumber in that nasty fucking RV of hers, to come and get on her phone and away from Candy Crush and call Mike's show and start yelling and cackle and get on like that. I'm more willing to accept, Anita, in spite of all the what would motivate Janie McKenzie, somebody who's just so innocent of anything and all of this, be interested in engaging in this sort of behavior? The fact that you showed up, Janie, tells people all they need to know. Good God.
Investigation. I'm not under investigation. I'm not under investigation. You are. You are on the property. You're lying. You're lying. You're standing on lies for your son. You're a liar. You're a liar. You're a liar. You're a liar.
Listen, everybody. Listen up, everybody out there in TV land or YouTube land or whatever. I was here at the property. Okay, Anita.
Thank you very much, Baby Monkey. What did I tell you? She cannot stray. We talk about this all the time, that they cannot stray from this particular script, so they just repeat it louder as if you didn't hear it the first time, or you're not believing them enough. It's like repeating something to somebody. Eventually it becomes true. Neurolinguistic programming, like, in that sense. But with Janie specifically, she reverts back to her specific alibi, and it never has anything to do with the actual question that's on the table or being asked or off topic. She just hijacks that topic and yells it as though you're not understanding something and you're the crazy one. Janie, you're the crazy one here, girl. You're the one who's detached from reality, not anybody else. And in this moment, including Anita, surprisingly enough.
Anita, I told everybody I was here at the property. Okay, people know that I'm here. I was here. Yes, there was 3 of us. Me, Daniel, and Malaya. We were all here. Everybody got that? Okay. Now, Anita, I'm hoping there's somebody out there that can friggin' do something about you and hopefully get you on some good
someone to take care of Fluffy.
So we'll set your goddamn
Tucker.
vote.
Well, I can't be confused over what Mike's or what they're doing over there. When you get something that is evoking such emotions from a person who's so clearly guilty and lying by omission, who's eating out of your hand, who can't not engage in whatever it is that you brought up, that speaks to your guilt, Janie. It doesn't speak to your innocence and your victimhood. It speaks to your guilt, which I'm glad I'm promoting over here at this point in time. Well done over there. I'm not confused. Not confused at all as to what they're doing. An innocent person doesn't have the need to engage with Anita, should she be just over there full of shit. And nobody's damaging anybody's lives through words and talking about Jack and Lillian anyway. How would you know, bitch? B-I-S-H? Glad you know what you're dealing with. Now you have no excuse to play ignorant, Mr. Hemi. I'm not playing ignorant. Chance was in chat before Jay, but they started chatting close in time, Stady says. 3:17:04 is the timestamp for those of you in the future watching. We're just coming up on it. Very interesting things that Janie's bringing up. This is a real covert effort to manage the narrative that's out there. You know, the easiest way to correct is to add context and detail, as in reasons why you're right and they're wrong. Not just yell it louder. What are you, 7? all of the answers are going to be coming. Wouldn't it be interesting to be able on a piece of paper or your screen to pop up a little folder from Janie's communication history through her messenger, including this call to Mike and Anita, all the way back to, let's say, the day that Malaya, let's go back further than that. A month before Malaya and Daniel moved out of Patty's into the Gairloch Road. Let's go all the way back to that date, right from Janie's appearance on Mike Demand's live stream, and read every single one of Janie McKenzie's text messages, the reasons she's sending them, who's communicating her. They're going to be doing that. All right? They're going to be doing that. They're going to be painting that timeline, and you're not going to have any fucking say about it, Janie. Snarky Pants is just waiting for her to say it. She's so angry and emotional, Janie will say something and bring it down. Oh, imagine how easy it should be for the officers after they gather so much information. Look at what they pulled from the first round. They got Danny on these specific charges, which are significant and serious, especially in light from his issues in this Jack and Lily situation that goes unresolved to this day. But it's progressing, absolutely. Them having the judicial authorization to go ahead and get all of these answers from everything post-disappearance is going to tell a story. Since day one, we can all source it right back to this interaction with Sonny's channel and coming out with these live streams and the information. Look, Durwood associated himself, and it's all sourced back to Janie and Daniel. Who knows about Malaya at that point in time? But it's not like it was a surprise. Durwood claims to be a relation, and he's in contact with them. No matter, he admitted he's in contact with them. We know where it came from. It came from Durwood. As crazy as it is, it doesn't mean dismiss everything, because your answers are right in front of you. You don't, who cares what he said? Yeah, he's a bullshitter. But our answer to the question is there's our connection. There's our source of information. That's all you need. Especially to know and pull of the communications digitally that they had. And these are things that Janie isn't going to be able to put herself in a position of telling you what's right or wrong. There's going to be no he said, she said scenario. Mayflower says, I think Janie isn't that dumb. She will go to her grave with it. Well, that's not being loyal. That's fear. You could be right. You're probably right. But it doesn't mean that the things that she's going to say isn't going to break the case. She doesn't have to admit any of it. You sit in front of those investigators and refuse to answer questions, which is probably, I don't even have to be your defense lawyer. That would be my recommendation. Just pretend that you've got, you don't know how to write in English and don't speak again. So you lost your voice from trauma. I think that's exaggerated, Mayflower. I'm not disagreeing with you, but she's just, you can say that Anita's highly emotional and accusatory of one particular party. It doesn't make her wrong. It just is her behavior that people don't agree with. Doesn't make her wrong. Doesn't make her right. Doesn't make her truthful. That's not the point. We're focused on Janie for a moment. Janie is getting up in front of you, leaking all kinds of information. She's not talking about and clearing up any information. She's not addressing false allegations. She's cackling. She's not prepared or willing to go into it. Yeah, you're right, Robin. What they don't say is almost as valuable as what they do say, Anita Benita. Absolutely. That is going back to Susan's 1996 study, one of the foundations in statement analysis. A little something that we've learned here on this channel, and you at home have learned as well. That's a classic, Anita, they would call it. What they don't say is almost as valuable as what they do say. That's what we learned from Susan's article. We all know it's a cover-up, and so does the RCMP. You're right, Anita. High five, by the way. Janie called in, so it's on herself this time. Good points. Keep in mind, this is all basically sanctioned by the RCMP. If they didn't want people talking, they would put a gag order on it, like they did the other case. Well, let's remind ourselves, I don't know what moons you're living on, but when it comes to a desperate situation from the perspective